what's the project you're working on? Do you have one here for us?
Right now, I'm working on a really amazing Tiny Rex, T-Rex. So the T is for
T-Rex, Tiny Rex.
Yeah, Tiny Rex. So here he is, first prototype made yesterday. This is actually what we're going to show in the next. We're going to show some basic stuff today of making one of these, and then next session we'll also animate it just like I've done here with a QuirkBot. So we have a giant dinosaur, animated dinosaur prototype.
I love it. Just in time for Jurassic Park.
Yeah, exactly. So, and everybody wants to have their own little Tiny Rex at home, maybe. So we're going to show some stuff with some of the connections I use, some of the ways I designed this. It might look advanced, but it's actually pretty simple if you go about it incrementally. If you try to design it from bottom up, it's trickier. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been focusing on a lot of cardboard recycled materials. So here I've been making a small bicycle. Not necessarily perfect, but it's like an early prototype that we're building, trying to take advantage of, you know, the many types of joints you can create, rotating joints, fixed joints, as well as looking into upcycling more different kinds of materials. So like egg cartons, for example, with some of our new bendy straws that we're developing, just to kind of make things a little bit more organic. But that's a lot of what we're going to be focusing on.
Yeah, we're going to show you more of that in the next one, how I make holes in everyday items to actually make them completely compatible with Strawbees, because that's the origin of Strawbees. So we can make some fun marble runs and stuff like that that utilize old PET bottles or stuff you can find at home. Yeah.
So we also have been producing these booklets full of, you know, tips and tricks on building with cardboard. So we're going to show you a few of those things today. The cardboard school kit, full of punches and a holder, so it makes construction much easier. So, Eric, can you show me the itinerary? Like, what are we going to be building?
Basically, what we're going to do. So now we can switch to the other. We have high-tech system today.
Yes, we do.
So we are prototyping this too. So we're going to shift down. Today, basically, I'm going to go through some of the connections that I use in cardboard. They're in the cardboard kit too. And then we're going to apply some of these connections in some cardboard puppets, similar to the T-Rex. We're going to make them a bit simpler first, but I'll also go through a little bit of the T-Rex that is mechanical without the QuirkBot. And then one of my favorite things, hacking a box to make a marble run for ping pong balls. So we'll see if we get through everything on time, but hopefully we do. It's a prototype, so run with us there. So this is the basic itinerary.
Build connections, puppets, and hopefully if we have time, make a marble run.
Yeah, and otherwise we'll get into that a little bit more in the next session.
Sounds good.
So because we're going to focus on something that's very common, it's going to be cardboard today. Super much, lots of cardboard. This one is already pre-cut a bit here, but basically when you build with cardboard, what I do, this is from the talk through thing, is I actually make a couple of cardboard connectors, so you can actually make a couple too. So this is a good preparation when you're building with cardboard.
So should I use mostly ones? Would you suggest?
That depends on what you have. For example, if you're a shortage of ones, the washer part. So now we're going to use, I call it a washer, but when you build with cardboard, you basically pre-assemble some cardboard connectors, and they look like this. So you slide a Strawbee or a washer. Like now you can actually, all the way into the bottom of a Strawbee. So they look like this.
So like this. So it's
I don't know if it's good to go closer to. Yeah, you see they're fixed there on the very end. And these are really good to prepare because then you can build much faster. So let's just make a couple here so we can show some of the tricks.
Okay.
And it doesn't actually matter if you use a 1, a 2, or a 3. So, for example, if you're short on ones, then you can actually use a 3 or a 5 or a 2 on this end.
Okay. So I'll make one with a 5.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah. So then we can test it. And then when you have some of these connectors, it's much faster to build and flow with your construction. Then I take the amazing new 3D printed cardboard tool, but you can also use a regular pencil. So if you do we have a pencil here? See if we, it's somewhere. But basically what you do with your regular pencil is you make a hole where you want to connect your piece of cardboard to the other piece.
So would you call this a punch?
This is the punch.
So this is the Strawbie punch,
Yeah.
with the flat side and a
Yeah.
rounded side.
And the flat side is what I use generally, but there's some particular places where it's better to actually use the flat side. So the regular punch side, around, whoops, this one, and the flat. So we can actually show some really good ways of using the flat thing also. But I'll start with just showing the basic connection of two cardboard pieces. And to do that, you basically have to have two cardboard pieces and have a hole somewhere where you want to connect them. So let's imagine we want to build this little moving thing. You place the holes on top of each other, and then you just plug your Strawbie with a washer down, and then you see that there's an open end on this side. And then you just connect it with just the same as before. It doesn't really matter what piece you use here.
So it prevents it from falling off.
Yeah. And this is actually your rotating joint, because there's only one point connected, it can move. And the more you move it, the easier it's going to be, because it kind of wears on the cardboard. Yeah.
And when is it a fixed joint?
So we actually have the fixed joint. One thing you can do to make it less moving is actually just squeeze them closer to each other. This is friction, so you can feel that it's actually, if I do this, you see it's staying. When I had it with less friction, see if I do this, it's spinning. So you can actually adjust the friction with the Strawbies. That might have been a bit too sloppy, so I wanted, if I wanted to have it spinning, yeah, a little bit spinning. So you see, it's actually much more powerful than we can convey it in text.
Yes.
You see, this is when I want to make a mechanical thing with cardboard. I set the squeeze between these two washer Strawbies by pushing it on.
So there might be a lot of like friction that could build up between the two.
Yeah, if you want friction, you do that. But if you don't want friction, you slide them apart a little bit, so you can see that they're you see there's a bit more space in between the Strawbies there. So now it's very low friction.
Can I add that joint to my cat?
First thing you need to figure out is, how do I want the movement? Where's the axis? Where is it going to move around? So you have to kind of, I use my fingers like this to get an idea of the movement. If I have it up here, you see that the movement is different. This is the center. So where do you want the movement to center?
Really great.
Actually, it's pretty fun to have it high up.
I really like
We've made a lot of robots with them down here, because then it's like wobbling like that. There's a completely different movement down here.
I definitely like that.
Yeah, this is like it's looking for some kind of animal on the ground. You have to use your imagination when you're building. It's really important.
That's true. Sometimes it just changes as you go along. That's the point of a talk through.
Yeah, exactly. I think that could be fun.
Okay.
So we're thinking out loud. And if you really annoyed at us, you can give that in feedback in the comments later. So now you actually made a hole. Now I didn't get to show my secret trick, because now it's very low because of where your hole was.
Well,
But we can cheat. Because nobody's going to see that second hole that you make if you want to make a hole higher up.
Sure.
So you can make a second hole.
Yeah. So that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to just modify it a few times.
So
I
now
might
you
have to do it a few times.
Yeah.
So like putting something like that. Maybe I could stick it like an antenna.
Yeah. So this is one that's going to show a little bit more. But that's a really nice movement.
Yeah. Kind of like some of the robotics that we started creating, where we have expressive robotics, like if you have like the ears wiggling, the position of the head, because now my cat's emotion is kind of like.
And actually, if we want to animate it later, now it's a talk through again, because I've been building so much that this would be really fun to actually go through and change as we go. I would put this from behind.
Okay.
And then in this case, it could be actually good to use the flat end, but we don't want to destroy this head too much. But if we use the flat head, we could actually translate motion from behind, you see? So we could actually animate by moving a stick here, and the head would move in the front.
I like that.
Which could be pretty cool. So let's go through that. And this is what actually building with Strawbies is all about. It's like iterating your way forward. So when you do this design, your first design, you should make a really mock-up-y, sketchy thing. And then you can go through your next iteration of the thing, could be the one that you kind of polish up a little bit. So let's just get this connected here. to his head.
And this is our very first simple
we actually-
rotating joint.
Yeah, and now you see I can actually, because the friction is higher up in the head here, I can actually animate it by pulling it on the back. So this is a really good thing for robotics later.
Definitely.
And then we could connect a little straw on the back. Oh, I didn't show that, but you get just squeeze the straw on here. And then we have a movement.
I love it.
And then maybe next step would be to actually connect, make this one, we're making a remote control. So maybe we should go through that too. So
Yeah.
I love remote controls. This is not one of those expensive remote controls. Actually, in this case, I would put this so the straw is coming out. The joint straw like this.
So this is like a rotating joint.
Yeah, rotating joint between two straws. And now I have a remote control for the head.
I like your term remote control.
Yeah, this is